We are live. We are live. Welcome to Dr. Frita Live. I'm Dr. Frita, and here on this live stream, we talk about the latest trending medical headlines and celebrity health news. Today, we're going to be talking about some medical topics, and we're going to take a real deep dive, actually. We'll start off talking about, oh my goodness, the diarrhea diet. And I'm telling you, please do not try this at home. There has been a social media trend of the diarrhea diet. I'm so serious. People are talking about getting cyclospora skinny, where they are purposefully eating contaminated foods. I'm going to talk to you about cyclospora and other diarrhea causing bacteria and viruses and parasites. And I'm going to let you know why it's not a good idea to do this social media trend and trying to get cyclospora skinny. I can't even believe it, but it's happening. We'll talk about it. And then we'll talk about Nolan Wells. You know that I've been talking quite a bit about him. I had the honor of being on the Don Lemon Show live when we first heard about the preliminary independent autopsy results. I was on the Don Lemon Show streaming live. I gave my gut reaction to that autopsy, and I've been talking about it. Make sure you check out my videos here on Dr. Frita on our YouTube channel. And today we're going to do a dive into a topic that really should have been talked about a long time ago. You've probably heard people saying, oh, Nolan was drinking. Oh, he was, so drunk. And we do not know if that allegation is true. But for the greater point, number one, why does it matter? Okay, let's just say he did have alcohol. We don't know if he did or not. In fact, one of his former coaches said that he saw Nolan. He seemed fine, did not seem intoxicated. That aside, let's just take this to the bigger conversation of alcohol and water safety. So we're going to get into that. And I really want you all to be ready here in the chat, because I want you to participate when we talk about water safety, when we talk about drinking. And then we can also I'll open up to ask a few more questions about Nolan Wells. I can give you information on the autopsy, the independent autopsy, what we know, what we don't, and then the anticipation of the original autopsy from the Mississippi Medical Examiner. We'll talk about what it should be able to show versus not, including drowning, including alcohol, all of that. And so we'll do that just for educational purposes as we continue to pray that Nolan Wells' family gets answers and that there's peace, okay, on the other side of it. And then we'll move into myth versus fact. We still will play a game toward the end. And we're going to be talking about recalls, okay? Is your favorite food item recalled? Is your grocery list cut short because something on your list was recalled by the FDA? Well, we're going to get into it from a medical perspective. And I'll talk about the various contaminated food items, what they are, and very importantly, how to recognize if you have any signs and symptoms. So we'll talk about the egg recall, the blueberry recall, the bacon recall. Yes, honey, they recalled bacon. Garlic powder. Can you believe it? We'll talk about it, and I'll go through the various microbes, the pathogens that are actually causing those recalls, and what you need to know to keep your family safe. So please go ahead and give us a like as we get started. Get ready, because I'm going to ask you to be active in the chat. I'm going to ask you to come on stage and talk to me. Yes, I am. This is Dr. Frita Live. I'm Dr. Frita. We're about to have a great evidence-based medical information show. Let's go. Hello, hello. Welcome to Dr. Frita Live. We talk about the latest trending medical headlines and celebrity health news. I am Dr. Frita, and we're about to get this thing started. Go ahead and give us a like and a subscribe. Very happy, very thankful to everyone who already subscribes. We do have over 1 million subscribers here on the Dr. Frita channel, and I'm very proud of that. I'm very grateful to you. And I feel like a great reason that we have so many loyal subscribers is because here on the Dr. Frita channel, we share evidence-based medical information. I have hundreds of videos on this channel, and I give you evidence-based medicine in a way that's easy to understand, so that if you watch my videos and say it's time for you to see your doctor, if you're concerned that you might have some type of an illness or a disorder, I break things down in a way that makes sense so that even when you go to your doctor, you're prepared with some good questions to ask. You know what to expect as far as what labs should be done. And if the doctor tries to kind of cut your visit short or try to speak down to you in a condescending manner, you'll be armed with knowledge from my videos in order to advocate for yourself or for your loved ones. And a big goal of mine is to close that health disparity gap so that you are able to get the health care that you deserve when you see your doctor. Check us out. Check us out. All right. Well, I won't be here alone, even though I've been alone for some of my weekend lives I've been popping up doing. To my co-host, Miss Shador. How are you doing? Come on to the front of the stage. How are you doing, Miss Shador?
Hey, Dr. Frita. I'm well. How are you?
Good, good, good. Well, I'm very proud of you, Shador. You're still standing. It was it was your little one's first day of pre-K today. How are you feeling? He's not home.
He's not home. I'm okay. No red eyes, no red
Good,
nose.
good. Listen, it was my big old teenagers, my 15-year-old twins' first day of high school today. And I told them I want to take photos of them. Don't you know, they went and hopped in the car, hopped in the driver's seat, because of course they drove themselves while I sat in the passenger seat going to school. And I was like, okay, when we get there, I'm gonna film y'all. Nah, Mom, you be doing too much. So my first day experience was much different than your first day experience, because all they did was fly out the car. Do you think I got a hug? Do you think I got a kiss on the cheek? No, I did not. I got, oh, okay, Mom. That's what I got in various tones. But, you know, I just pray everyone has a really good, healthy school year, happy school year, enriching school year. And we're going to have a healthy and enriching medical live as we get started. But Shador, who was the first person to come to the stage? Who was the first person in the chat today?
First person is the one and only member, Miss Sheila.
Miss Sheila. All right. I hope you got your thinking cap on. Look, I know you're always activated. I have a lot of questions I'm going to be asking you, Miss Sheila. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely. And shout out to Miss Rosalind making it back to our member.
Hello. Thank you, Miss Rosalind. All right. Shall we go ahead and get going?
Let's get started.
There is something called the diarrhea diet. I never thought I would be talking about it, but here we are. And we've talked here about the cyclospora chiatinensis parasite, that single-celled parasite that's been on lettuce, on various produce, cilantro, raspberries, parsley. These are the types of foods that cilantro tends to contaminate. That cyclospora tends to contaminate. We know that cyclospora is found in human feces. So when it's on your food, you know where it originated, from sewage or from people. Anyway, from human feces, where it originates. It takes most people anywhere from 2 to 14 days before getting ill. And the illness typically presents with watery diarrhea or explosive diarrhea, also abdominal pain, cramps, nausea. And people are using the restroom. It can be 5 times a day, 14 times a day, 40 times a day. So it's a big deal. Well, now, you know, I think it started off as a joke, perhaps, but some people really who have weight loss goals are sharing on social media that they're doing the diarrhea diet and they're trying to get cyclospora skinny. And sadly, some of my non-critical thinkers out there are listening to these trends, and it can be very dangerous. And so before we listen to this clip, Medheads, I want you to put in the chat, and I want you to give me some lettuce. Okay, give me some leafy greens, give me some lettuce, and answer this question, please. Why do you think that so many people fall for social media health trends? What is it? Why do they fall for social media health trends? And I also want you to add, if you may, or you can do one or the other or both. What are some social media health trends that you want me to do a deep dive on? And I'll come back perhaps and we'll do a live or I'll do another video. What are some health trends you've seen and you want me to fact check them? They might be right. Okay. So answer those, give me some lettuce, and let's go ahead and watch this clip.
Scrolling through social media, you've most likely come across videos like this. People talking about wanting the dangerous parasite just to lose weight.
Getting any kind of illness to purposely cause something like that is just a bad idea. Plus, cyclosporiasis can be deadly. There are folks ending up in the hospital for long periods of time.
Cyclospora skinny or diarrhea diet, whatever you want to call it, doctors call it extremely dangerous.
Well, with diarrhea, if you're not able to control that part of it, you're going to lose a lot of electrolytes. So you're going to have problems with muscle cramps and headaches and all those sorts of things. But dehydration, and we're really aware of dehydration in this state. You don't want to get to the state where your heart just can't pump enough of blood because there's no water in there.
Even jokes on social media can carry real consequences.
People who are influencers in social media, a lot of people listen to them. There's millions of followers for these people. And even the most off-color comment or I meant to be funny could be considered something serious, especially somebody who might be dealing and struggling with their weight. They may think, hey, maybe it might be a good idea. And it's never a good idea.
That's important. That's why people who have a lot of followers, people who are influencers, when you're joking, you have to be very careful because everyone listening, I mean, you're an influencer for a reason. They listen to what you say. And sadly, now I'm realizing that some people have been trying to get diarrhea skinny. Oh my goodness. So so definitely medheads, like I said, I want you to put that lettuce there and tell me why is it that people are so vulnerable to some of these social media health trends, and also list social media health trends you want me to go and fact check, and then perhaps I'll come back and do a video. But getting back to the cyclospora and any of these diarrheal illnesses, yes, the diarrhea is not something that's glamorous, not just because it's uncomfortable, but you are losing water. You're losing water, you're losing electrolytes, you're using vitamins, you're losing muscle. It's not like you're, having the diarrhea and then you're losing fat around your waist or fat around your face or wherever you want to lose the fat. So it's nothing that's targeted. And here's something that's very important. For those of you who are new, I am a board certified nephrologist, meaning I'm a kidney doctor and I'm a high blood pressure doctor. And do you know one cause of kidney failure? Dehydration. Yeah, it's not well known, but dehydration can cause kidney failure. And so if someone goes on this diarrhea diet, please don't try this, okay? If someone goes on this diarrhea diet, they try to get cyclospora skinny, they could literally end up getting severely dehydrated, which would lead to pre-renal azotemia, which could further progress to acute tubular necrosis, which could land you on dialysis. I'm telling you, I've dialyzed people due to severe dehydration in the past. And I'm quite sure that the people who are trying to get cyclospora skinny don't realize that. There's other consequences of dehydration as well. With electrolyte imbalances, if you are losing excess potassium, that could affect your heart. You could literally have a life-threatening heart arrhythmia or abnormal heart rhythm from becoming severely hypokalemic or having low potassium, extremely low potassium. Also, the other electrolytes that can be thrown off with severe diarrhea can affect your heart, affect your muscles, and it literally can be life-threatening. And so please don't do it. And then just broadening this to other social media trends, just because someone shows up and they tell you that they are a wellness guru, even if they have 1 million followers or more, please pause and go and check them out. Okay. Google them, check out their credentials, go on the websites that, for example, for me, American Board of Internal Medicine, ABIM, they'll let you know about my, internal medicine certification, my nephrology certification, ABOM, check folks out, for their credibility. When you Google someone's name, if they've been on any, reputable shows or had any publications, that should come up. Like if you were to look me up, you would find that I've been on News Nation, that I've been on HLN, Paternity Court is probably there as well. You'll see me on Channel 2, ABC News. You'll see that I've been on CBS News Atlanta, on the Griot, and so you don't have to just listen to me just because I come up here and I tell you the followers I have. You'll find that other people who are reputable and respected in their fields of journalism, fields of Emmy awarding TV shows, such as the Paternity Court is, that they also are kind of, in a sense, cross-verifying. So don't just believe what people say. Not even me. Go check them out, because someone who truly is a wellness guru should be able to stand on their credentials. They shouldn't be afraid to show their credentials. Now, do they have to come on here and have all their certificates? No, but there should be some kind of a way, where you kind of cross-reference and a person is verifiable, certainly before you do something like trying to get cyclospora skinny. So I'm telling you right now here today, please do not try a diarrhea diet. Please do not try to get cyclospora skinny. In fact, I am board certified in obesity medicine. If you really want to find out how to get to a healthy weight, click the link in my description or go to my one-stop shop, drfrita.com, and book a telehealth concierge appointment with me. And we can talk about what your actual healthy weight is. Is the BMI actually the best record for your weight? Or do you need another way that is more applicable or more appropriate for your body type or for, your ethnicity, something that matches better than the BMI? We'll talk about conservative ways to lose weight. Yes, the lifestyle. Yes, the eating. Yes, the exercise. But then we'll also talk about the fact that some people are genetically predisposed to living with obesity. Okay. And then depending on what that genetic reason is, there are different medications that can target. Okay, there's some by-mouth medications, there are some injections, there are risks. We'll go over those. There are definitely benefits. We'll go over all of that. But please don't try to get cyclospora skinny. All right, med heads. Now, what do you say? Why is it? Why is it? And I know that common sense isn't common, but what do the med heads say, Shador? Why do they think so many people fall for some of these social media wellness trends?
All right, shout out to member Forever a King. Hello.
Hey, Forever King, welcome back.
Low self-esteem.
Low self-esteem. That's a big one. That's a big one. And the same people who are on social media like that are also looking at people who look, so perfect and so beautiful and so handsome with six packs and perfectly symmetrical faces, right down to those folks who talk about looks maxing, the incels, and that's typically males, young males, predominantly white males, where they have what they've decided is perfect. I'm talking about they have the measurements between the eyes. Do your eyes slant up? Do they slant down? They talk about, the chiseled bones, the face, and they have these different rankings of exactly what attractiveness is. And so if you're someone who perhaps does not even feel great about how you look, and then you're on social media, and you're being told exactly what beauty is, not necessarily realizing that a lot of people have filters, or they have, all kinds of extra makeup or waist trainers, or, they've gone and done AI. They don't even think about that. They're just listening to what they're being told. So you're right. If you have low self-esteem, then that can make you quite desperate. And so if someone who speaks clearly and they have a lot of followers and they tell you, oh, trust me, this works. Trust me, it's safe. Sometimes you might just take them at face value because you're desperate. Yeah, low self-esteem is a big one. Thank you.
All right, Life Spark. Hello.
Hello, welcome.
They want to be included.
Want to be included, right? Want to be a part. You don't want to be outside. You want to kind of join in, do what everyone else is doing. In fact, you might see that someone who said, "Hey, I'm getting cyclospora skinny," they might have gotten, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of views, and you want it too. You want to be in the conversation, yeah, which could get back to the low self-esteem or just a need for socialization. Yeah, that's true. Because I'm gonna tell you, I'm asking y'all for a reason. I'm trying to make it make sense, because I try to step back and not be judgmental. And, as someone who has lived, plus, of course, being a physician, certain things, I'm like, what? That don't make any kind of sense. But apparently it makes sense to someone. And that's what y'all are helping me to figure out, med heads. Listen, for everyone who's here, who's watching, who's listening, make sure you give us a like. And please just take a pause and share. Share this in your group chat. Share it in the WhatsApp. Share it in your group email. Share it with your coworker. Listen, share it with your boss if it's not going to get you fired. Go share it on the mountaintop. Let people know we're here by pressing that share. It helps the algorithm. It lets YouTube know that we're providing evidence-based medical information. And make sure you follow me on all social media platforms. For those of you who do, you already know that this weekend I was very busy. Even though I went out of town, I was sitting there and just filming content. And as different things came up, I put it out there. And also, as you subscribe here, put your notification bell on, because I've been popping up and doing some random after hours lives. Listen, Shador, I've been sneaking on here doing lives and having fun. For my members and for my subscribers who have their notification bells on, they know and they can be right there. All right, let's take a couple of more. Y'all give me some more ideas about these social media trends. Also, if there are any, and even once we finish talking about it, you can keep putting it in the chat with the lettuce emoji. Are there any health social media trends that you want me to fact check and perhaps come back and do a live or a video to see which ones might actually have some validity versus buyer beware? Make sure you avoid them.
Yep, I do have a few on those. Miss Sheila says looking for a quick fix.
Quick fix. That's true. A lot of times to get the results that we want, Miss Sheila, you have to work, right? And sometimes even when you work really hard, especially as you get older, or if you become perimenopausal or postmenopausal, for men, if your testosterone decreases and you're just getting growner, it's hard to get those same goals, and people want to make it happen now. And as far as young people who are at the peak of their metabolisms, they definitely, a lot of them like the microwave, quick. If I want to know something, how to be an expert, I'll go to Chat GPT. I'll get AI right now. If I want my food heated up, I'm not going to sit here and wait for that oven to preheat. I'm going to my microwave. I want it right now. So that quick fix culture. So if someone pops on and say, hey, instead of just doing, eating in a healthy manner, exercising, all that kumbaya to lose 10 pounds, if they put a trend on like the one I just talked about, the cyclospora diet, and they're like, oh, I could lose 10 pounds in a week. They want that quick fix and not doing the work. Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons. I agree.
All right. A few trends. This is from T Only One.
Okay, and I'm gonna make a note of these. Okay.
This is egg diet before current recall.
Oh, the egg diet. Okay. I'll take a look at that one and let you know. And I can tell you just offhand, eggs actually do have a lot of healthy protein. One egg typically has about 8 grams of protein. There's other vitamins and essential vitamins that are healthy as far as eggs are concerned. And even though we have had the recall, which we'll talk about, and nearly 19 million eggs have been recalled, there are still many, 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 many more eggs that were not recalled. Okay. I myself am still eating eggs. I'm just not eating them from the Kroger's in Texas and Louisiana, or from the Brookshire grocery stores in Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, New Mexico. We'll talk about it, but they're very specific eggs that have been recalled. So we'll get into it. You don't have to stop eating all eggs. You just have to pay attention, especially to the FDA.gov website for updates. Okay, good. So I'll look at egg diet. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Angela, hello.
Okay. Hi, Angela.
Okay. Can you fact check the trend on peptides, the most popular gray market ones in the current FDA stand?
You know, I thought about doing that because I've been getting real mad seeing people talk about the peptides as if it's the end all, and you have folks who are spending their good money. Yeah, I'm going to do the peptides one. Let's see. So I got to figure out if I'm going to do a live or a short form video. Keep your notifications on so you'll know. That's a really good one. Okay, so egg diet, peptides. Okay.
All right. First of all, hello.
Hi.
First of all, it says eliminate diet, recommended to them by a certified nutritionist many years ago.
Okay. And if you're talking about what I think you're talking about, and you can let me, in fact, just let me know. I know that when we talk about eliminating for people who perhaps have allergies and we're not sure what those allergies are, or if they're having a certain reaction, the doctors or nutritionists or dietitians, registered dietitians, will have you eliminate just certain portions at a time, not all at once, because you want to see what your body responds to or what was causing the problems. Let me know if that's what you're talking about. If not, look, I gotta take some notes on these because they're actually pretty good for me to come back.
Dr. Frita in the replay.
Oh, in the replay?
Yeah, be in the replay.
Okay, I'll go in the replay and take notes. Look, I'm ready to do it now. All right. What else you got?
Red Hot, hello.
Hi, Red Hot.
Asked if you can please debunk the baking soda and lemon quick fix.
Ooh, you said debunk it?
Yes.
Ooh, I might not be debunking it. I'll talk about it though. I'll talk about it. And just to give a little preview hint to it, baking soda. So for patients, and of course, I'm a kidney doctor. For my patients who have metabolic acidosis, right? If their kidneys disease is advanced and they're not getting rid of acid the way that they should, and if their blood is very acidic and not alkaline, it is actually an FDA-approved treatment to prescribe sodium bicarbonate tablets. Do you know what sodium bicarbonate is? Baking soda, essentially. Sometimes insurance doesn't cover sodium bicarbonate. And in that case, I will recommend for my patients to do some baking soda, like a little bit of baking soda in water. So that should be a one. Now, I don't know about, I got to take a look. I'll go and look at what all those trends is recommending. And if they're recommending things that are outside of what makes sense from a scientific level. But that's the tricky thing. And look, Shador, that's the tricky thing about these trends. A lot of them are so believable because they have at least an ounce of truth, right? That makes sense. And then they might take it all the way to the left, where it's like, wait, not all that. Just like cabbage diet. Cabbage is wonderful, especially red cabbage as far as being healthy. But if you get someone telling you to be on the cabbage diet and that's all you do, never mind protein, never mind any carbs at all, even healthy carbs, well, then that's where it's like you're taking something that's healthy, but now you're doing it in an unhealthy manner. Yeah, I'm definitely going to go into these trends. This is good. Anybody else?
Yes, Sheila. Hello.
Hello, Sheila.
Sheila says fiber maxing.
Fiber maxing. Okay. Again, there's going to be a balance to it. Okay. So I can't wait. So I'm going to go, and I guess I'll go through and actually try to find the gurus on social media, and I'll see if I have some who are giving the proper balance versus ones who are recommending things that are too extreme. Okay, I'm taking notes, so I'll come back and I'll let y'all know how we'll do it. We'll do it in live. Oh, okay. What we got?
This is from Red Hot again. The whiteout diet: no sugar, no dairy, no potatoes, no flour.
Okay. The whiteout diet. So we'll talk about that because again, yeah, we'll get into it. I definitely can see where there can be some benefits to that, but what's the balance? What's the balance? Okay, good. Oh, these are good. I hadn't even heard of it called that, whiteout diet. Well, this is gonna be good. All right. Thank y'all. Please go ahead and give us a like. Give yourselves a like, because those are some good suggestions. And we'll go ahead and keep this thing moving. Make sure again that even if you've subscribed before, go back and make sure the subscribe button is hit, because sometimes for whatever reason, sometimes people get thrown off where they're not getting subscribed. They're not seeing my videos are coming on. The notifications aren't going off. Make sure you check those things out, and that you make sure you're still subscribed, that you give it this like. And now let's talk about Nolan Wells. Let's talk about Nolan Wells. And you know that, we've been covering this from the very beginning, and specifically when it comes to the medical aspects of it. I was, back on July 22nd, I was, honored to be on the Don Lemon Show live when he actually streamed in real time Attorney Ben Crump presenting the autopsy results that were given to him by the independent medical examiner, Dr. Roger Mitchell. He shared those at an NAACP conference, and I was able to give my gut reaction immediately, real time on the autopsy. Since then, there's been just kind of so much conversation. Make sure you go and you check out right here on the Dr. Frita channel. I have my collab with Don Lemon from that day. Plus, I've done several other videos right up until even this weekend. I was doing some Nolan Wells videos talking about the stages of grief. Well, now I want to talk about things from a different angle, because of course, here on the Dr. Frita channel, we take what's going on in the headlines and we frame it in a way that we can all learn, right? We can all learn and have healthier, happier lives. Some disturbing videos I've been seeing or have been some people without any fact saying, oh yeah, everybody said Nolan was drunk. Oh, he was, stumbling drunk. He was out of his head, almost framing it to blame the victim. Number one, we have no definitive evidence that he was drinking. Some people who were there and who are witnesses say that they themselves were drinking. Okay, speak for yourself. Okay. And, let's just say, even if he were drinking, my question is, what would it matter? Does that mean he should have passed away? You know what I mean? Does that mean does that frame him as a bad person? No, it does not. But what we will do, we'll talk about the conversation that really should have been had all summer, but it's never too late to have it. And we're going to talk about the dangers of alcohol while being around water, specifically, be it swimming, be it operating machinery like a boat. So we're going to talk about that. And I'm going to be asking you guys quite a few questions as we kind of frame and talk about alcohol. And I'll also get into a little bit of linking this back to the autopsy. How is it that a medical examiner would be able to tell if someone was drinking or even intoxicated before they passed away, versus did the alcohol just ferment, and was it produced in the body post-mortem? There's a very specific way or specific ways to find out. So Shador, let's open up with a clip, and then I want y'all to go ahead and be interactive and listen. We're going to try something a little different. I've been doing it for some of my surprise pop-up lives. I'm going to ask y'all to actually come to the stage. I don't need to see you. And so we're going to put that clip up. Shador, let's go ahead and put the link up. So look in the comments for the link that we're putting up. And here's what's important. When you tap that link, it's going to ask you to enable both your camera and your microphone in order to be accepted. So yes, enable both the camera and the microphone, but then immediately turn your camera off after it's accepted you. Okay, after the system has accepted you. And then what we'll do, we'll have you to come on stage, but it'll just be your voice. We'll frame it in a way where it's just your voice, and it's going to be really like a call-in for the questions that I am going to ask you. So go ahead, tap that link, and I can tell you, what do I want to say? Well, go ahead and y'all acquaint yourselves with the link, and then we'll go ahead and play this clip, and we'll have a conversation.
Of Nolan Wells, where investigators say the 18-year-old went missing on July 4th and spent the day drinking heavily. Now, that is coming from a document that was obtained by ABC News through a public records request. The Mississippi Department of Marine Resources compiled a brief list of information about Wells.
How is that going to help the family? There are kids out there drinking and living life. They have to criminalize, pathologize the the victim. And I think what many of us are concerned about, to Quentin and Daniel's conversation, and it's not that far-fetched that we're going to get it incompetent. I know folks don't want to hear it, but racially charged investigation in Mississippi. This goes back to my point. When you're going to bring up what his alcohol intake was, that appears in my perception, my interpretation, another way to protect these friends, these other men who were there.
To Clay's point, it's like, but still, Daniel, I want to take you by the neck and do like this. Because right when I got ready to apologize, then they show that, and I get infuriated again. He told you to study Tina Marie. Do you know Tina Marie's song Deja Vu?
Okay, that's good.
I've been here before. We've been here before, and the conclusion is the same every time. Daniel, I feel it in my DNA. I feel it in my protons, in my neutrons. The conclusion, because I've been here before.
Okay. Okay. All right. So let's see. Oh, we already have someone on the stage. Let me tell you some of the questions I want to ask. One, and this will be for anyone, does it matter? Does it change anything as far as, you know, the family's pursuit of what happened to their son if he indeed had been drinking? And we do know that he had a great big, you know, sporting event that was coming up as far as being checked out or going to a camp reportedly for D1 football schools, things of that nature. He also still was 18, you know, a person who's 18, right? And so then my question is, what is the point of people talking about the alcohol? Are they being helpful? Are they trying to demonize him? I know you don't know for a fact, but I am curious. But then for a more specifically medical question, what a lot of people don't know is that alcohol can actually affect one's judgment even before they feel intoxicated at all. And I want to know if you know that. So come on up and let's see what you have to say about Nolan Wells. But again, the alcohol conversation is not about him specifically. That's more for our health in general, health knowledge. Hello. I hear you there. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey. I used to live with an alcoholic.
Okay.
So it gets a little too personal. I'm
sorry.
Yeah.
So when you say it gets a little too personal, as far as your kind of gut reaction when people are saying, yeah, we heard he was drunk, does that make you automatically believe them? Does that make you think, well, he's 18, whether he was drinking or not, we still need to know what happened to him? Or does it just kind of take you back to you understand firsthand the effects of alcohol on the brain?
I do understand the effects of alcohol, but it does not make him a drunk or an alcoholic just because, you know, they say, quote unquote, that, you know, he was drinking.
And I agree with you with the quote unquote, because we actually don't know. And
Right.
apparently, reportedly, according to his Nolan's mom, Mrs. Christine, she said she spoke with one of his coaches or his former coaches who said they talked to him and he was fine, because we don't know if he was drinking. But let's just say he had been drinking. The way that he's being painted by some of the people as being fallen down, sloppy, it really feels like they're trying to frame his character in a way to blame the victim. Yeah.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. They try to blame the victim. I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah,
but he can't speak for himself. He can't speak.
He cannot speak for himself. And
Right.
ordinarily, you would think that your friends, and I'm going to say the quote unquote, these friends, you would think that they would be kind of helping to speak for you. And the best way to speak for you would be answering where you were. You know, whether it was 300, 400 people on that Horn Island, it sounds like there were hundreds of people reportedly, for no one to know anything and to be able to pinpoint the time that he, you know, was in distress or missing, or the time of him passing away. It really, you know, it is frustrating, right?
Yeah.
Right. And, you know, and as far as, I'm sorry that you've had to live with someone, you know, who had an alcohol use disorder. And we know that it can start young, right? It can start with teenagers. It can start with 1 drink here, 3 drinks there. And then you can start chasing that feeling of euphoria, of that intoxication. And so it takes more and more as you develop a tolerance, right? And then as far as what it will do with the brain. So that's just, you know, your feeling. Sadly, alcohol is not just affecting the person's drinking. It does affect behavior. It affects judgment. It can cause a person to not have impulse control, to go, give me the keys to that car and go hop in. You don't have the judgment to know that you're not in your right mind to drive, and you have the impulse that you want to go now. It can make some people violent.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I lived with.
I'm
What
sorry.
you just said,
I'm sorry.
the last few sentences, that's what I lived with.
And I think almost in dealing with alcoholics, you know, I've had many patients and many, you know, people who have had to live with it, have many patients who themselves have alcohol overuse. Probably of all of the hard things, like the physical abuse, emotional abuse for people who are living with alcoholics, I think one of the hardest things is when an alcoholic, and I'm saying alcoholic, I'm going to say alcohol overuse disorder.
Right.
Person with alcohol overuse disorder actually blacks out or forgets. And so you're trying to have a conversation with someone and saying, hey, you did this to me, or I don't appreciate that. You're trying to have them to take accountability. But if they honestly blacked out, then you're having a conversation with yourself. And so the cycle repeats, or they might really feel sorry or feel guilty. And now they buy you flowers or get you your favorite food or say, hey, honey, let's go on a great date. And the fact that, you know, you're with someone and you may be married or dating or whatever, there's some good qualities about them. You care about them on some level. It's easy to want to forgive. These are the stories I hear. Does that sound like anything familiar you've dealt with?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm sorry. And it's something that it can be long lasting, right? Trauma. And so, you know, I certainly would recommend that you talk to your doctor about it if you haven't already, or even seek counseling, because I know a lot of people think, well, you know, I'm good now and I'm strong, and you might be, but sometimes there are just remnants of the trauma, right?
Yeah.
Remnants of the trauma. And also if you have, you know, loved ones, children, and there are certain patterns that you're able to pick up, you want to be able to express those to your loved ones so that they don't end up in the same situation, either being the drinker or being someone who is in a potentially abusive relationship. Yeah. Well, thank you for coming up. I certainly appreciate you. I'm sorry you've had to live with it. And I certainly, you know, pray for your healing, for your wellness, and for your, you know, perhaps even being able to advocate for other ones in your life so that they don't, you know, have to deal with being the drinker or being the one who's connected to the abuse of the person drinking. Okay. But I agree with you, whether he was drinking or not, this 18-year-old young man, that does not mean that we get to sweep under the rug what happened to him. What happened to Nolan Wells? Justice for Nolan Wells, right?
That's right.
Okay. You have a great one. I appreciate you were the first on the stage. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Is there anyone else who wants to come on? We'll keep having the conversation. I have another question I'm going to be asking y'all soon also as well about this case. Let's see. And I don't even know, even as we speak, perhaps there's some news that might be coming out. I don't know. But you noticed with that preliminary independent autopsy, and if you didn't see it, go check out my collaboration right here on the Dr. Frita channel from when I was on the John Lemon show the moment that it was released, also the other videos, just to get your own information. But, you know, we had according to the independent examiner, there was that 12-inch by 8-inch lesion on the back of the head. He said there were no bone fractures, no skull fractures. He didn't have the neck. That interior neck was being held by the primary examiner. I'm going to ask this. How are you feeling about what we have and have not learned by the autopsy? And are you anxious to learn what the Mississippi medical examiner is going to share? And kind of how are you feeling? Do you think that we'll be able to everyone just put your hands together and close it once we find out, or will there be more questions still? How do you feel about what we know / what we don't know about the autopsy? Okay, press that link and come on up and just let me know how you feel. Or if you have any questions about at least that initial preliminary autopsy result, I'll answer those as well. Okay. Let's see.
Hey, so Kimberly does say she feels dissatisfied.
Okay. Dissatisfied. I wish you would come up so I can kind of ask dissatisfied how. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people feel dissatisfied, myself included. And if you watch me with my gut reaction, I was like, the neck is missing. We need answers. You know, I will say, in order to frame it, we know, and even Dr. Mitchell said, the independent examiner, that it is customary to hold back certain structures like the anterior neck structures, at least initially, because they need to fix them, meaning prepare them in a proper way to study them completely, not just for histology, but also for being able to examine and make certain slides. And so my question was and is, and I don't have all the answers, even if you have to hold back structures, is there anything that's keeping you from sharing the initial pictures? Show me a picture to show that there's no kind of ligature. Can you show me a picture of the hyoid bone? That being said, perhaps there's protocol, like some legal protocol for something, for a case that's going into potential litigation or grand jury. And so as far as a legal perspective, that could be a part of the reasoning. But just from a medical perspective and wanting to know why, after the 1 to 3 weeks that it takes in order to make the proper slides of the brain, of the various organs, after those 3 weeks, I'm ready to know some results. I'm ready to know some results because they're ready. Again, if there's some type of a legal reason to hold them back or a protocol, that may be. But it does feel like at this point, the young man's body was found. Nolan's body was found on July 6th. That's almost a month ago at this point. Why do we not know the answer that everyone wants to know? Did he drown? We know that the Mississippi Sheriff Ledbetter came out very soon and said, oh yeah, it looks like it was an accidental drowning. We don't suspect any foul play. He said that right off with no investigation. So why is it now that almost a month later, the original Mississippi examiners have not come out and confirmed that it's a drowning? Because let me tell you, you definitely can't confirm whether or not someone has drowned versus if there was a deceased body. And Shador, and if no one is coming up, then we'll kind of keep on moving. But I really would like for y'all to take for that link, to press that link, allow it to give access to your camera, access to your microphone. And once you come up, just like we did with the last caller, it'll just be your voice. So you don't have to show your camera. You don't have to show your camera once you come up. We'll just have your voice. But, and again, for right now, I'll answer some questions if y'all have any on the autopsy. But I agree, we don't have all the answers, but there are ways to know if someone drowned versus if their body was pushed in. And the independent medical examiner in Mississippi, based on the standard of typical autopsies, they should know and be able to share. Did he drown or not? Okay, we'll start there and then move on to that lesion, that 12-inch by 8-inch lesion. We don't know if that's something that happened after he passed away. Did the blood pool? Or was there some type of a bleeding in the brain, intracranial hemorrhage, epidural hematoma, subdural hematoma? Was there some type of a trauma? We don't know that answer, right? We don't know if there was a hyoid bone in the neck that was displaced. We don't know that answer. Yeah. Yep. All right. Anyone else want to come up to the stage?
Yes, he was trying to come up. Here, if you click the link that I placed in the chat, allow camera and mic access, and then turn your camera off.
Yeah, because one of the things I ran into for some people, they'll be on the stage and it said disabled, you're not connected, because they would not want to give access to the camera. You have to give access to the camera and the microphone. Once you do that and you're accepted, you can immediately turn your camera off. Okay, but you do have to agree initially to come up. Yeah, and we'll go ahead and turn the camera. Yeah, and if we can, we'll turn the camera off for you or just kind of hide you. All right, but do we have anyone else who's ready to come up? Sure.
He is ready to come up. I'll bring him up and put him in the background.
All right. Hello. How are you doing?
Hello. I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Good. I'm not sure where you are with it now because I was busy trying to figure out the camera part. But mainly what I did want to say is your first question, going back to the first question, because I wanted to answer that real quick before moving on to the second. Gosh. Can you actually repeat it one more time so I can line
I'll
up?
talk about the alcohol because I've shared just for educational purposes. We've started talking about alcohol and how it can impair judgment and things of that nature. But one question was, you have some people what feels like they're trying to frame Nolan Wells' character in a negative way. Oh, he was out of it. He was sloppy drunk. So we don't have any evidence for that. In fact, we've had some reports per the mother that like his former coach said that he was fine. But I'm saying, even let's just say, for argument's sake, even if he did have alcohol, does that make a difference? Does that make, researching his life any less important? That was one of the questions.
I was glad that you asked that for the simple fact that let's imagine for a moment if it's any of us and we're amongst friends and we're impaired. Obviously, well, not obviously, but even if he was, this is probably his first time drinking at this outing. Am I going to leave my friend behind knowing that he's in this condition? Can't, slurring in his words, like they said, can't stay standing. Am I knowingly going to be like his only protection and just leave him in a strange place with someone that he just met or people that don't know him or whatever the case may be, and especially being the only, for lack of a better word right now, being the only spot on the beach or in the room or whatever the case may be. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't think anyone can make that make sense.
I agree.
And
yeah.
and
that
to,
word friend, right? And if you think about yourself and even most people, you're correct.
Yeah.
If they're labeling him, oh, he was sloppy drunk, he was this and that. Okay, we're all of these friends and brothers. Why are you able to state that as a witness, but you don't know what happened to him? You don't know anything about it. Yeah. I agree.
Exactly. And you hadn't asked this question yet, this next question, but hopefully people will say something about this too. The child or the kid's mother that's a judge that decided to jump in front of this, get ahead of it, so to speak, and begin to advise these kids to start deleting their social medias and not answering certain things and doing certain things. I think she should be brought in question too. That I don't like at all.
Okay. So of course, that's getting into the legal aspects. I will give my opinion, and of course, I'm Dr. Frita. This is Dr. Frita Live. We're talking about medical, but just based on even still dealing with facts, the judge, who's the mother or stepmother, I believe she's the mother of one of the young men, did come out and she said things like definitively the time they left. Definitively, she was making statements as if she were there. So, and she seemed to be taking charge and leading. And we now know it's been reported that there have been arrests made because she's been receiving threats. I believe from someone in California, they've made threats, and that's come to the front of the timeline in the front. And so, I'm trusting that Attorney Ben Crump, if it is appropriate to question her, then I trust that he will take care of that from a legal aspect. I will say, just from the outside looking in, it does feel like there's a lot of weight in the young men, specifically the young white men, that they have people of power who are in high places in Mississippi. And there's nothing wrong with having people of power in high places, but what I don't want is for it to cloud the way the investigation is going. And right off the bat, like I mentioned, when Sheriff Ledbetter came out and said, oh yeah, it looks like it was accidental drowning, nothing to see here already, that has us looking at them with the side eye. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
The real unfortunate part too is that that was Mississippi. And that definitely sounds like a Mississippi, how you want to word that, just basically their attitude when it comes to things towards us. Because I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and all we can do. So of course, Nolan Wells, yes, it's a new day, but the historical context does matter, right? And we'll talk about this. But I'm saying historical context in Mississippi. Mississippi is where Emmett Till, right, where he didn't receive justice initially. And Mississippi has had a very strong history of there being health injustice and disparities in the way Black people have been treated. Nina Simone put it in a song. So that part is not a fantasy, dealing in the past. And even though we're here in 2026, we're also in the same country where on the 4th of July, there were, white supremacists who marched around with their khaki pants and their mouths covered. And to my recollection, I did not hear the current president of the United States, or any of his supporters. I did not hear any headlines about them denouncing those white supremacists who are walking around. They have freedom of speech. Sure, they do. But it lets you know that the racial tensions are real. They're not just in our heads. And so all Nolan Wells parents are asking for is justice. They're not race baiting. They're not asking for a thumb on the scale. They just want to know what happened to their son. So I thank you for coming up. I'm glad you were able to figure everything out, to come up and give your input. And yeah, I'm really, I really, your sentiments are some that I certainly feel myself in a lot of ways. So thank you. I appreciate you being here.
Actually, can I go forward and answer your second question too, if you can repeat that?
Oh gosh. Oh, one was just in general. And this is really a medical one. Did you know that oftentimes judgment is impaired even before one even realizes that they're becoming intoxicated? The judgment is already impaired.
Yeah, I was definitely aware of that. But I think I was leaning more towards why they didn't send everything with Nolan's body when they did the second autopsy.
You have a comment or a question? Okay, go ahead.
Exactly, because if you did the first autopsy, you know exactly what you need in order to come up with an objective as far as what actually happened here.
Okay.
So, and that's going to mean organs. It's definitely in this case going to mean the throat, whether it was strangulation, whether there was water in the lung, you know, things of that nature. And if this first doctor didn't send it to the second doctor, what does he expect him to come up with? When he knows, okay, I'm sending you nothing that you can work with, so your investigation has to become inconclusive, as I said mine is, because I'm not giving you what you need in order to move forward in your investigation.
Okay. So it sounds like you're hearing it, and it opens up the room for question and even suspicion for how much you can trust the first medical examiner. Well, let me do this part, because I'll take it back to a black and white fact part first. For the anterior neck structures, for the brain, and for some other tissues, it is required to fix them. Let's just start with the brain, because the second examiner didn't have the information. He knows. He just has that 12 by 8 inch lesion. He doesn't know if there was trauma. He doesn't know if there's intracranial bleed. There was no, he didn't have the brain. It is customary. Now, this part is the black and white of it, that it takes anywhere from 1 to 3 weeks, sometimes 4 weeks, in order for the brain to be prepared before there can be slides made. Okay. So if I just jump back and give total benefit of the doubt, if I take away all suspicion in black and white, then by the time that we were presented information on July 22nd, that was certainly more than a week, but it wasn't 3 weeks or 4 weeks. So one could argue that maybe they weren't quite ready with the brain. The question I still have, and I don't know, even if you weren't ready to give the brain, could you not have taken pictures of it? Could you not have given what it looked like? That remains to be seen. With the anterior neck structure, same thing. Sometimes they have to hold it back, fix it, make the slides, and that could take up to 3 weeks as well. But again, my question, were you not allowed to show us photographs of it? Could you not look at the hyoid bone with at least say there's no gross or no obvious fractures? So that brings questions. And then with the lungs, we're now a month out. The medical examiner, the first one, will have the information on if water entered the airway. Is there water in the lungs? Are there diatoms there are ways to know, right? We don't know that. So even if I give them the benefit of the doubt in, the first medical exam, the first preliminary results from the independent medical examiner, if that wasn't 3 or 4 weeks out, now we're pushing toward that 4 weeks. So why don't we know now? I'm going to the best of my ability, try to withhold my judgment, but I am looking with the side eye, because at this point, someone should know something. And if it's not for the public to know due to legal or litigation reasons, I believe that transparency is warranted. Say to all of you people like Dr. Frita, who you're suspicious and we have the information, but because this is, going to grand jury, we can't give it to you. Maybe I'll accept that, maybe I won't, but tell me something, be transparent. Until then, I'm looking with the side eye and I want answers.
Yeah, my prayers definitely go out to him as well as his family. So hopefully they will get the justice they deserve.
Yes. And whatever that truth is, if there's no smoking gun, so be it. But show us, give us the evidence, give that family the respect, right?
I'm looking side-eyed too.
side-eyed. But you see, but here on the Dr. Frita channel, I will always make sure I bring it back to the evidence. You know, we'll talk about how we're feeling. We're humans, we're living people, we have wisdom, we have life experiences. But that's why it was important for me to make that statement. It is customary for it to take, you know, up 3 weeks, 4 weeks for the brain to be prepared, in some cases for the neck. There are reasons where an independent examiner might need to hold something back. We're getting to that month now. There should be answers.
Yeah.
And so I'm waiting to see. And reportedly the Mississippi exam is ready. I don't know when they're going to release it to the public, but I'll let you know. So make sure you stay with us and put the notification on, because I will surely pop up here as soon as I know something about what the independent examiners say, and we will break that thing down from a scientific evidence-based perspective. And then I'll also, you know, call people up to kind of see where you're feeling with it, you know, big picture. Okay.
Well, we appreciate you. Thank you, and God bless.
God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. So let's, you know, make sure y'all please go ahead and give us a like, give us a subscribe. We will be here giving you evidence-based medical information and giving you a chance to come and get information and get some feelings off of your chest while also keeping it evidence-based and medical. So yeah, so my sentiments exactly. Prayers going up for justice for Nolan Wells, answers, whatever those answers are. If there's no one who is guilty or at fault, wonderful, wonderful. I just want those parents to know what happened to their son. That's it. That's all. All right. So let's talk about a few more things. We'll talk about these recalls. July has been very rich with recalls, from eggs to garlic powder to iceberg lettuce to blueberries. We're going to run through a few of the recalls, and then I want you all to make sure you go to fda.gov and you can get on their notification list, on their email list, so you can find out when there are different recalls. But I want to talk to you about some of the bacteria. We already talked about the parasite cyclospora, but I want to talk to you about some of the bacteria like salmonella and like E. coli, that these things have been coming up. And then we'll do a real quick myth versus fact and wrap this thing up. Let's open up with the first recall on our list. Shador, let's go ahead and play a clip, and then we'll keep talking.
If you are making breakfast, you need to listen up. We've learned thousands of pounds of bacon are being recalled. It involves a company that's based in Lisle. Maple Leaf Foods is recalling more than 12,000 pounds of smoked bacon. The USDA says the product was not properly inspected when it came into the country from Canada. The bacon was sold under the Royale and Top Value brand names, and it was distributed to Idaho, Oregon, and Washington.
All right. So bacon is one of those things. There are a lot of folks who will say, I don't eat pork, but I eat bacon. And so when I heard about this bacon recall, I was like, oh my goodness. But make sure that you don't have a total freak out. Again, go to the fda.gov website to know which bacon. There, you know, the 12-ounce packs of it. And I believe there were, what did it say, over 12,000 pounds of the bacon. Again, it did come from Canada, from this maple leaf products. So just make sure you're paying attention to your labels, especially if you're eating bacon that has come from Canada. And I want y'all to listen, if you're someone who eats bacon, put bacon in the emoji and tell me if you think that you're at a risk, or if you don't think that's a bacon that you've purchased. Go look in your refrigerator. All right, let's play this next recall clip.
Hold on a second, Dr.
Okay. And as of now, despite what some folks have said, the cyclospora outbreak is not over. You know, there are at least 6 outbreaks being independently investigated by the FDA. We know about the Taylor Farms iceberg lettuce one, that shredded lettuce recall affecting at least 9 states at this point. We also know about North Carolina. They suspected some parsley and some lettuce. So just making sure that you're careful. Quite honestly, at least 41 states have reported cyclospora. Be sure that you're washing your produce, of course, and understanding that in order to actually get rid of cyclospora, it would take you cooking it or heating it up to at least 158 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. And if that next one is not there, I'll go ahead and talk about it. The blueberries. And I want y'all to put in the chat, give me a blueberries emoji. Give me a blueberries emoji. And tell me what you're doing differently with all of these different recalls, be it garlic powder, be it blueberries, be it bacon. Is it affecting your life? Like, are you just stopping the foods altogether, or are you just being careful? And if you don't have it in your freezer or refrigerator, you keep it pushing. Tell me if it's affecting you in an extreme measure where you're just like, I feel like I almost can't eat anything, or I can't trust what's going on with our surveillance system, or if you're playing it pretty cool. Are you playing it pretty
And
cool?
the blueberry Dr. Frita is an actual article, not a clip on the blueberries.
An article, okay.
So where are they from?
Okay, so for the blueberries, I'll tell you, Publix, and y'all know I shop at Publix. The Publix at grocery stores, they've done recalls on their Green Wise organic frozen blueberries and whole berries, and these are the 10-ounce packages as well as the 48-ounce packages. And because there is a suspicion that they have an E. coli, specifically E. coli 0145. Now, y'all have heard me talk about E. coli before. Typically, I'm talking about the E. coli 0157H7. This one's different. This is E. coli 0145, and it is a type of E. coli, a bacterium that makes a toxin, a Shiga toxin, and it can also, just like the other one I mentioned, lead to a bloody diarrhea and even to kidney failure through something called HUS, hemolytic uremic syndrome. And so, again, go in your freezers, look, get on the pause me. No, don't pause me. Just wait. Just after the live is over. Go to your refrigerator. And if you shop at Publix, or if you have Publix Green Wise frozen blueberries or those whole mixed berries, look and see if you are a part of this recall. If you have a 10-ounce package or a 48-ounce package. Now, they haven't been on the shelves since June, but it could be sitting in the corner of your freezer. So especially if you're someone who's been watching me, because you know I love telling y'all how great blueberries are and all the antioxidants, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, all of those things. I encourage you to make juices, to make smoothies. I still do, but don't do it with the E. coli contaminated berries, okay? And so with this E. coli, usually it takes about 3 to 4 days after you ingest them before getting sick, and you can get bloody diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain. High fever is not a typical symptom, but some people can get fever. The important thing is to know when to go to the doctor. If your diarrhea is not getting better and you've had it for a few days, go to the doctor. If you have an infant and you're suspicious that they have it, go to the doctor. If you're someone who's over the age of 65, even if you're pretty healthy, I say go ahead, heads up, just go to the doctor. Certainly if you're immunocompromised and you're suspicious that you have the infection. So if you're taking, chemotherapy, or if you're a transplant patient. And for everyone, if you've had diarrhea for like a few days, 3 days, and it's not getting better, go to your doctor. If you have bloody diarrhea, go to the doctor. If you have high fever, go to the doctor. If you're dehydrated, like if your urine is getting dark, if you're getting weak, if you have low blood pressure, fast heart, go to your doctor, okay? So err on going to your doctor, but also make sure you check. And if you have any of the frozen blueberries or whole mixed berries from Green Wise, from Publix, don't eat them, okay? And then garlic powder. Look, now social media be acting up, but I did actually see some really funny videos on garlic powder. Folks are like, look, this is where I draw the line, okay? Because they know that people like me, kidney doctors like me, high blood pressure doctors like me are forever telling you to put the salt shaker down, but I'm telling you to pick up garlic powder, right? Because that doesn't have the sodium and it's not as likely to affect your blood pressure. So when folks saw there was a garlic powder recall, they were like, I know you lying. But yes, there's a garlic powder recall. It's for Canada. It's a nationwide Canada recall, but here's what's important. It's the Heavenly Spices 70-gram garlic powder, and it has also been sold online, okay? And so if you're someone who does some of your grocery shopping online and you may have gotten this garlic powder, please go look in your pantry. It's the Heavenly Spices garlic powder, 70 grams, okay? And again, double check with the websites to see if you have the ones that have been recalled. In Canada, they're sold at the Dollarama stores. And the reason it's been recalled is because of a bacterium, Bacillus cereus. And it's something that if you get infected, it'll cause typically a watery diarrhea. It might last 1 to 2 days. Most patients do fine. But again, if you're an immunocompromised patient, it can become a problem. And the Bacillus cereus, so in this case, it's on garlic powder. It typically affects things like rice, meats, sauces, pasta, sushi. Rice is one of the classic sources of the pathogen. And what happens is if you leave your rice out, like after you cook it for more than 2 hours, even if you put it in the refrigerator after that, it is definitely possible to still get the Bacillus cereus. And you might be wondering, oh, okay, well, what's the antibiotic or what's the treatment? Well, most people actually get sick from the toxins that come from the Bacillus cereus, which means that the antibiotics in a lot of cases really won't work. But your doctor can test you. If you ask specifically for the Bacillus cereus, they might be able to catch it in whatever body fluids you have that's come out of your body with the Bacillus cereus, or they can even check the contaminated food to see if it has Bacillus cereus. But mainly, if you have this 70-gram Heavenly Spices garlic powder, leave it be. And I'll keep rolling, but I have done videos on these recalls, including a live that I did just this past week. So if you go and you look at my live videos, you'll see one that says like recall live Q&A, and I spend a whole live just talking about the recall. So check that out. I'm just giving you a little overview here. What else do we got? Those are the main ones. But yeah, did anyone make an answer? Or if you want to come to the stage, you can tell me if you come to the stage, you get first priority. It's whoever pops up on the stage. But do you see anyone with blueberries in the chat? And they kind of commenting on how they're living their lives a little differently since these recalls.
Absolutely, Dr. Frita. So we have Miss Pamela.
Hi, Miss Pamela.
She said, I don't eat blueberries anymore. I've been very careful now.
Oh, that actually makes me sad. It's just these frozen blueberries that can give you E. coli 0145. Yeah, I really suggest that you go to that FDA.gov and be very specific, and I'm saying that, but I also do recognize that on the other side of my mouth, that cyclospora can affect produce, including fruits, and even if you wash them and scrub them, cyclospora can still be there. So I understand the hesitancy. I'll tell you what I'm doing in my life. I'm still eating blueberries. I'm being careful. I'm not eating anything that's been recalled, but I've been getting fresh blueberries. If you get them from a local farm, if you're able to do that, like a farmer's market, they're less likely to have things like cyclospora, but there's no 100% guarantee. And even for people like with the E. coli, they're like, well, if I get them while they're frozen, then that should kill the bacteria. No, not necessarily. Things like E. coli or salmonella, like from the eggs, the freezing might kind of slow down the growth of the bacteria and make them dormant. But once they get back to room temperature, they're popping again. They can infect you. So please don't think that the freezing is going to kill these bacteria, okay? Because not necessarily so. We know that the cyclospora is the heating up to 158 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah. Anyone else?
Yeah, Miss Sheila. Remember Miss Sheila?
Hi,
She
Miss
also
Sheila.
has a question. So she said she only buys fresh blueberries, but she said, can this parasite get in our drinking water?
Now, which parasite? Now, for the E. coli, that's a bacteria, and the short answer is yes. It can contaminate drinking water. Yes. And for Cyclospora chiatinensis, that parasite definitely can be in drinking water, can be on fresh fruit, can be on produce. Now, if you boil your drinking water to 158 degrees Fahrenheit, it'll take care of Cyclospora. But as far as the blueberries, and again, there's no guarantee, so you still want to be very careful and watch the areas that are reporting high contamination. But for the blueberry specifically, for at least this one today, and I know there have been other blueberry recalls in the past, this one specifically is for the green wise frozen blueberries and mixed berries we showed. The 10 ounce and 40 ounce packages in the public stores have removed them from their shelves as of June, but they might still be in your refrigerator, your freezer. So just check them out. Yeah. And blueberries are a wonderful source of antioxidants. They're very healthy and they're kidney friendly. So I do want you to eat blueberries, but I do want you to be safe as well.
All right. Remember Dakala?
Hi, Dakala. Yay, she's activated. Hello.
She's the one on stage with us earlier. She's the first one to come up.
Oh, yeah.
She says, do they, the first that came up was Dakala.
Oh, shoot. Well, Dakala, we'll catch you next time.
She says, do they take time to clean the machines between shifts or shipping?
So there are some questions, and there have been different folks who've kind of gone in behind the scenes. You may have seen it. And I've seen videos, not necessarily official videos, but videos of ice machines, of cleaning machines. And I hate to talk about it because it's going to make me never eat anything that come from home again. But there should be certain protocols in place for at least minimal level of cleanliness when you're dealing with factories who are packaging, producing fruits, vegetables. But as you, I'm sure, are well aware, sometimes folks cut corners, and sometimes in the public, we won't know. But that's why it's important. It's important that we have a system like FDA, USDA, CDC that we're able to trust. And sadly, just being blunt, with all the cuts that happened with Doge and the CDC cuts and the thousands and thousands of employees who were fired, our surveillance, our food surveillance, for example, is not what it was. We did have something to call the food net. It involved the CDC, the FDA, USDA, and they sat up there and they monitored all kinds of pathogens like bacteria, viruses, parasites, specifically 8 pathogens. 2 of them, so one was screwworms, and we saw our first screwworms in the United States. We hadn't seen any since the 1960s. We saw those this year. That is correlating with the July 2025 date when they stopped having surveillance for screwworms. We also used to have surveillance for cyclospora. We no longer have the same surveillance where states were required to report cyclospora cases and to do surveillance and send it to the federal government. We don't have it. Okay. At the same time, we have the largest cyclospora outbreak that we've had in years. Yeah, cyclospora season is typically from May 1st to August, and we might get maybe 3,000 cases a year in the United States. Right now, we have at least 11,500 confirmed or suspected cases of cyclospora. And we know that at least 4,173 cases have had laboratory confirmation, according to the CDC. And so, can you say cause and effect? You can certainly say correlation. At the same time that we stopped having the same surveillance, that's the same time that some of these infections have reared their ugly heads. So are there mandates? Are there safety regulations? Are they cleaning the machines? All I can say is that they are supposed to be doing that. But cyclospora is a parasite that's found in human feces. I didn't say roosters. I didn't say dogs. I didn't say cats. I said it's found in human feces. So for us to have that in our foods, then we know that we're having certain contaminations that, quite frankly, with the proper surveillance, we would hope that we wouldn't see it to these numbers. So that's where we are. I sure wish I had a better answer for you, but all I can tell you is the truth. Yeah. All right, let's quickly play out the myth versus fact before we close out of here, Shador. And this is related to food recalls. Okay, so you have that first one up, Shador.
I sure do.
All right.
Cooking recalled food to 145 degrees make it safe to eat.
Put an M1 if that's a myth, an F1 if that's a fact. And make sure y'all give us a like as you're answering these myth questions. All right, myth versus fact. Statement number 2, please.
If a recalled product is already in your freezer, bacteria can't survive, so it's safe to eat.
Ooh, put an M2 if that's a myth, put an F2 if that's a fact. All right, Medheads, y'all don't need much time. Let's jump on in. What do they say for number 1, Shador?
Cooking recalled food to 145 degrees makes it safe to eat. We have Cheryl says it is a fact.
Okay.
Andre says myth.
Ooh, Andre. Okay.
Shout out to member Miss Khadija. Hello.
Hi, thank you for being a member. Yay.
She says fact.
Wait, and could you come back? Aren't you the nurse? Is she a nurse or nurse practitioner?
Khadija?
Let me know if I have it right. Yeah.
Okay. The flower lady. She says
flower lady.
Myth.
Okay.
Kimberly says myth.
Okay.
Emmanuel agrees that it is a myth.
Okay, this is a good one.
Cheryl, did you change your answer? Yeah, she changed it to myth. Remember Sheila? Okay. Cheryl said fact, but changed it to myth. Sheila says a myth. Dakala says myth. What you know, Joe? We've been missing you.
Hey, what you know, Joe?
What you know, Joe says a fact.
Okay.
Pam also says it is a fact.
Ooh, this is a good. I love a mixed bag. All right. So here's the answer. But before I tell you the answer, I'm going to tell you I know why each person put the answer they put. You've heard me say, if you've been following me here, that when it comes to the temperature of foods, I say that danger zone is between 40 degrees and 140 degrees Fahrenheit, right? If you're storing food, like if you're taking it to a cookout, if it's supposed to be cold, let it stay cold, like 40 degrees or less, right? If it's supposed to be hot, put it on a chafing dish and let it be real hot, right? At 140 degrees or more. I've said that before, there's a danger zone. But here's the nuance to this question. Cooking something over 145 degrees. Now, some cases, like with steaks and things, they might say 165 or 160 with fish. It just depends. But cooking things over 145 degrees, if there's bacteria, in many cases really can make it safe to eat, right? And I know that's why many of you said fact. But here's the thing about recalls. Recalls are not always about bacteria or viruses or parasites. Sometimes there are recalls due to glass, right? You remember that when there was some crushed ice that's been, or crushed glass, or sometimes recalls are due to plastics, right? There might be little bits and pieces of plastic. Sometimes recalls are because something was not sealed properly. So the point is, you have to pay attention to the recall and find out why items are being recalled, okay? And even if it is a bacteria that typically should be killed by cooking it to 145 degrees, if you have a recall and there's just an overwhelming amount of bacteria, then you can't be guaranteed that it's safe. So this is actually a myth. The main reasons that it's a myth is because recalls are not always from bacteria and parasites that can be killed with heat. Sometimes they're for other things like crushed glass or other objects. And so the point is, always pay attention to the recall. Don't say, child, I'm not looking at what they're talking about. I'm just going to cook my food to 145 degrees and be safe, because you won't always be safe. So this was a myth. Tricky, Nikki. All right. Number 2.
All right. If a recalled product is already in your freezer, bacteria can't survive, so it's safe to eat.
Now, what y'all said on this one? I'm about to squint at y'all.
You better get it.
I know. I was thinking when I was running my mouth and doing explanations. I forgot about this question coming up.
All right. So member Miss Joella, hello.
Hello.
Says myth.
Okay.
Miss Aileen, hey.
Hey, Miss Aileen was up with me late night. Miss Aileen, you saw me. We were it was like 10 o'clock. Let me not tell your business. I already told it because you were the first person in the chat. Yep. So she caught one of these old pop-up lives. Thank you, Miss Aileen.
Miss Aileen says fact.
Okay.
Member Mr. Randy, hey.
Hi, Mr. Randy.
Says a myth.
Okay.
Life Spark says myth as well.
Okay.
Miss Sheila, member, says myth.
Okay.
I am paralegal. Where you been?
Hey, welcome back.
Says myth.
Okay. Oh, now I'm paralegal. You know, you should have come to the stage when we're talking about this Nolan Wells, because there's a lot of legal technicalities, right? In addition to just the medical, and definitely in addition to the emotional, social, it's just a lot, right? Okay. What else?
Lady Low.
Lady Low
as well, and members the collar.
How to call her?
And Miss Rosalind. Both say you myth.
Okay. All right. Shador, can you read this again? Because I do believe I said the answer earlier.
If a recalled product is already in your freezer, bacteria can't survive, so it's safe to eat.
Okay. So this is a myth. This is a myth, because what happens, even if freezing will slow down the growth and it'll cause bacteria to be dormant, it doesn't necessarily kill the bacteria. So as you thaw it out and get ready to eat it, that bacteria really could wake up and be alive. And so don't think that just because something is frozen, that it's safe to eat. Okay, so that's that point. All right. We're going to close on out there, Shador, unless you have some special shout outs or anything you want to give. I appreciate all of y'all for hanging with us, and especially the brave ones who came to the stage. I enjoy that, and we'll be implementing that more and more. And for those of you who catch me when I pop up and do my late night lives, all I'm doing is call in. So please go ahead and familiarize yourself with the links. Just as kind of a different way, a different little sauce to the show here. And make sure, again, you check out my one-stop shop, drfrita.com. There you can check out my book, Under Pressure, A Guide to Controlling High Blood Pressure. I'm very proud of it. For those of you who are new to me, I am Dr. Frita. I've been quadruple board certified. I'm a board certified nephrologist, meaning I'm a kidney doctor and a high blood pressure doctor. I'm also board certified in internal medicine. I'm also board certified in obesity medicine. And after I completed my dual med peds residency at Georgetown University Hospital School of Medicine, I earned my board certification in pediatrics. And this book is about what I live and what I know, which is managing high blood pressure. Not only do I talk about the traditional treatments such as medicine, and I do prescribe medicines when indicated, I also talk about using food as medicine, lifestyle as medicine, ways to be able, in some cases, avoid taking medicine or being pulled off of medicine, but definitely always consult with your doctor. So not only do I have it available in hardback, softback, I also have it in Audible. I'm very proud of this in Audible. And so if you're an Audible member, you can just use one of your credits to buy it. You can go to Amazon. You can go to my one-stop shop, drfrita.com. And also, if you enjoy talking to us here in this nice, large forum, I enjoy it too. But if you want to talk to me one-on-one, then I do offer a telehealth concierge service where I can help you from anywhere in the world. You present your entire history to me. You share labs, you share imaging, and I can give you a first opinion. Or if you've seen another doctor and you just kind of want to get my perspective or some kind of encouragement on how to advocate for yourself, or hey, this looks like right, this looks right, this doesn't look right. Hey, I think you should ask this, ask that. I can kind of partner with you in this concierge, appointment. So we offer these. And so again, you can click the link in our description or go to my one-stop shop, drfrita.com. Also, when you're finished, check out my latest videos. Just released one at the end of last week that I'm very proud of. And it says it is about kidney disease warning signs that are hiding in your mouth. It's going to blow your socks off. Check that out and then look in your own mouth. And then look at your neighbor's mouth and your loved one's mouth and see if they need to walk to the kidney doctor to get things checked out. Before that, I released one on 7 heart attack symptoms that most women dismiss as stress. Okay. That's another really a shocker for a lot of people that can be helpful. But make sure you check out my different playlists. And to see what I'm up to on media medicine, check out my television playlist where I've been I was on the Joy Reid show, this past week before, a couple times in 1 week, talking about cyclospora, talking about Nolan Wells autopsy. I'm a recurrent medical expert on the Don Lemon show. So I'm on there quite a bit. You'll be able to check that out. CBS News Atlanta, that was another one of the more recent ones. And always it pops up all over the place that patients and followers tell me they keep seeing my different episodes of Paternity Court, the Emmy award-winning Paternity Court. That will always be one of my favorite ones. But yeah, you can check that out here on my television playlist. At any rate, I appreciate y'all for hanging with us. I appreciate you for your support, for your interaction, for being such really a brilliant group. Y'all here in the chat, in the comments, my replay crew, when I go back and look at your comments, I appreciate your intellect, and what you add to the conversation definitely adds to the health and well-being of the community. And so I appreciate you for being here, and I appreciate all of our over 1 million subscribers here on YouTube. If you're not a subscriber, come join the party and join the membership. Members. One more thing. I just filmed a video right after I dropped my kids off to school. And so I have some healthy habit quick tips for members for the school year. You don't want to miss that. I'm going to post that this afternoon once we finish. And it's for my members. If you're not a member, it's not too late. Click the link in the description or go to one-stop shop, drfrita.com, become a member. We have members only videos, and I have a live members only Q&A that we do every single month. All right. We'll slide on to the left. Thank you for Shador for being a wonderful co-host. And hopefully your little one had a good day on his first day of pre-K. I'm not too much studying my 15-year-olds because they were so anticlimactic going to school. They were not worried about it. They better not get on my nerves. Anyway, I appreciate you for being here, everyone, on our live stream, Dr. Frita Live, where we discuss the latest trending medical headlines and celebrity health news. As always, thank you for making Monday your healthiest day of the week.